Oh, hi guys. And here in the wonderful state of California, there's been a lot of talk about this. Uh-oh. This is a massive problem. That's why it's even affecting the stock market. Because it's not just a pain at the pump. Everything relies on oil. Electricity, even if you drive an electric car, electricity is often generated by burning oil. If you want to go somewhere, on an airplane, you have to use oil. Electric planes aren't there yet and are not going to be there for several years. If you have something delivered from China, it's coming on a big old container ship, burning oil. If you pick up something at the grocery store, it has been delivered by a semi truck driven by oil, diesel. No, Tesla haven't got the semi truck working yet, and it's not around for a few more years. So the world runs on oil, and even if you're using electricity, you're still using oil at some point. The world runs on oil. That's why this is a major crisis we are dealing with right now. Now, a lot of this is driven by supply and demand. Supply must equal demand for a price to maintain stable. What has happened due to the war in Iran, supply has dropped, but demand has remained the same or slightly increased as it usually does with oil. So demand is basically the same, but supply has dropped. So oil is now more valuable. There's a simple answer to this. Don't source oil from problematic regions of the world. Store oil locally. Drill oil in the US or in other countries that don't have these geopolitical problems with them, shall we say. If you do that, if you're prepared for that, if you're prepared for regional instability in the Middle East, if you're prepared for that, supply will be even. Yes, okay, Trump has said he's gonna start drilling for oil off the California coast, and I'm for that. I'm definitely for that. But that is not an immediate fix to the problem. We should have fixed this problem years ago. We should have fixed this problem with the first Gulf War, with the second Gulf War. We should have been sourcing US oil back then because we can't get up to speed fast enough. We can't meet supply fast enough. Supply has dropped and we can't fill in the hole that's been created by instability in this region. We should have done this years ago. We shouldn't be relying on the Middle East for oil. We need oil for everything. We need to source it locally. Yes, there is a very small chance that a disaster like Deepwater Horizon or that thing that happened in Alaska years ago may happen. But, it's that's a very small risk. That's a very small risk compared to the risk of instability in the Middle East, which is always a very unstable hotbed of activity over there. We cannot rely on the Middle East for oil. It's as simple as that. We have to have strategic production and strategic reserves over here that can be opened up in an instant. Because when those reserves open up, this price instability we see just disappears overnight because there is no shortage of supply when that happens. The supply and demand thing is completely fixed overnight by opening up US resources. It's as simple as that. There's also, I am sure, a lot of speculation going on as to what's going to happen to the price of crude oil over the next few weeks, over the next few months. When's the war going to end? It's going to end when Trump wants it to end, obviously, but when's the war going to end? Nobody knows this. So people are speculating on oil prices, and that is driving things up even higher. And who is it hurting? It's not hurting the millionaires and the billionaires, no. It's hurting the people that have to drive to work tomorrow. It's hurting the truck drivers. It's hurting the people that have to buy groceries. Yeah, everything, because the world runs on oil, everything is now going to get more expensive. It's going to cost more to ship groceries. It's going to cost more for your Amazon deliveries. It's going to cost more to fly somewhere. Airlines have already stated they're going to hike up prices in the next few weeks. It's going to cost more for everything. And I guarantee when the price of oil goes down, a lot of those companies won't reduce their prices. It's just the way the economy works, okay? They're going to price gouge this thing up because of oil, and they're not going to reduce the prices. That's the way the economy works often. So we'll see if they drop the prices back down. But it's hurting. It's going to hurt the average person on the street. It's not going to hurt the millionaire driving his EV around or having someone drive his Rolls Royce around. It's not going to hurt that person, no. It's not going to hurt the speculators and the people that are buying and selling oil, no. It's not really going to hurt the gas stations that much, I'm sure. It's going to hurt the average Joe that is driving to work, that is wondering how he can stretch his paycheck out so he can buy a tank of gas this week. That's who this is going to hurt. And really, it could all have been avoided. It could all have been avoided by sourcing US oil and having a large strategic reserve locally. This, we sort of seen this coming. This has been coming for years. We know it's a geopolitically unstable region. We know there's always wars in the area. We should have prepared for this by sourcing US oil. Simple as that. We weren't prepared for it, and now it's happened. And now the average person on the street has to deal with this and has to deal with the most fundamental question: how do I fill up my tank to get to work? Because if I don't get to work, I don't get paid. Honestly, war is your classic lose-lose situation. Nobody is going to win from this whole thing. Maybe the defense contractors will win. Maybe they'll get some contracts, some new weapons or some new fighters or something like that. And some of the other contractors will get contracts, I'm sure, to help rebuild Iran after this is all blown over in a few years, and we can build water plants and sewer plants and electric plants and build a stable Iran, or at least help build a stable Iran when this is all over. But the average person is not going to benefit from any of this. Okay, I agree with the motive behind the fact that we did something now because we didn't want to have to deal with a nuclear Iran in 5 years. I am absolutely 100% agreed with that because there is no worse situation than having a crazy person with a nuke. Come on, that's the honest truth. We'd all be fried if Iran had a nuke and they had a way to deliver it. We'd be history by now. So I'm accepting the fact that this was necessary, but more planning should have gone in before this. Former presidents before this should have said, yes, we need to open up a strategic reserve. We need to open up offshore drilling of California and other states because we need our own source of oil. We cannot be dependent on the Middle East for oil because it is still the lifeblood of our society. Unless by some miracle we go over to 100% nuclear energy or 100% renewable energy, it is still going to be the lifeblood of our society for a long, long time to come. And when it dries up, like it dries up right now, the only people it's really going to impact are the people going about their lives, doing their day-to-day jobs, like you and me. The people that are struggling to put gas in their tank. Anyway, guys, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the 2026 energy crisis, as we'll call it now. I'll read through them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you love what I'm talking about. And I'll be back real soon. Fill up your tank.